Welcome to Ask Me Anything, featuring spiritual medium and psychotherapist Kellee White.
Hi, everybody. I am spiritual medium Kellee White, and welcome to Ask Me Anything. Today is November 19th, 2021, and we got a great show for you. And today is an extremely auspicious day as we go into tonight and tomorrow, a really auspicious day. And I do want to talk about that, about the astrology of today. But let me say hi to everybody. Hi, Lillian Wong. Oh my gosh. You are just terrific. Hi, Beth. So sweet from Michigan. Hey, Renee Martinez. Hi, Julie West. Hi, Tina. Hi, Kim Ann. Yes, we are going to talk about that lunar eclipse. Hi, Jody. Everybody knows about this eclipse. Hey, Lizette. Hey, Tracy. Hi, Karen Bennett. Hi, Laura. Oh, this is so fun. I love to say hi to everybody. Hi, Chesney. Hi, Dee. And hi, Stacy Thompson. You're always so sweet. You always come on first and so sweet. Well, and I could just go on and say hi to everybody. Oh, Cat Feathers. What a great name. Hi, Carol. See, I'm having too much fun with this. I'm going to stop right now because I want to get into the. But hello to everybody that's watching here, and I'm so glad and grateful that you're here. Steve from Monica. Wow. Not sure where that is. Is that Monaco or Monica? Wow. Hi, Ellen Snelling, and I know that you're a big fan of not just me, but of our special guest tonight, which we're going to get into in just a couple of minutes. But first, I really want to talk to everybody about the auspiciousness, if you will, of tonight and tomorrow. We have a lunar eclipse that hasn't this is the longest eclipse of the century, and the last time it was anywhere near this long and this type of eclipse was in the 15th century. I think it was like 580 years ago. It's a really powerful time, and it begins at approximately 11 p.m. Pacific time tonight and goes in, about 3.5 hours. It actually is 3 hours and 28 minutes. That's a really long time for a lunar eclipse, a partial lunar eclipse at that. This is what I'm going to call a once in a lifetime moment for a lot of reasons. One, it's the length of it and the seriousness of this. I find it really fascinating that this is on the beginning of a 2.5 year cycle of eclipses as we go into eclipse season that are on the Taurus Scorpio axis. And Taurus and Scorpio are both fixed signs. They're fixed. Like, for instance, Taurus, the bull, you just see the bull coming. You know he's not going to change his mind, right? I mean, I live on a farm. I can tell you, they don't change their mind. And Scorpio is also a fixed sign, and it also doesn't change its mind. It just digs in its heels. And Taurus represents life, and Scorpio represents death and transformation. And when you have those two polar extremes, it makes this period of time and for the next 6 months challenging, particularly now. Everybody's got to be feeling this energy of intensity is the only way to describe it. It's in Vedic astrology and in Western astrology at the same time by varying degrees, but normally in Vedic astrology, it's slightly different than Western. This time it's the same, Taurus and Scorpio. I find that really interesting. And it really does matter to us how we respond going forward now. I mean, what really matters to us is what we really need to be looking at. And this is a real time for transformation. It helps change belief systems. That's how important this period of time is. And lunar eclipses bring endings and bring big changes. So the more things that you can let go of, like all the dramas in your life, all the difficult aspects that you can release, all of the old stories that you tell yourself, or all the old traumas that are just have played itself out over and over, the more you can release of that, the more energy you have going forward. And it allows for a greater capacity to raise your vibration and to actually do the spiritual work that you're here to do. And that's what eclipses bring. They're energy portals that open up for about a small amount of time that allow us to do a lot of releasing. And so this is a great evening and morning to meditate before you go to bed. There are some, I know that some people are not about making moon water during this auspicious event during an eclipse. But in some cases, I think it might be important because that moon water kind of represents what you're ready to let go of. And some people actually need some physical representation. That was the reason I put that in my, when I wrote about it on my website about this eclipse, because I think it's a really important, but it's a great time to meditate. And it's going to be a big deal. It's a big deal. So it'll be interesting. Keep a journal of what your feelings are and what you're ready to release. And we have another eclipse on December 4th that we'll talk about that's really powerful as well. This was about releasing the old, and the one on December 4th is really new beginnings. So very important. But now I want to introduce really one of my favorite people and the most incredible healer of all. I think the world of her. Her name is Prajna Avalon, and Prajna graduated from the Barbara Brennan School of Healing, at least over 20 years ago, and she was a professor there. She's an incredible healer. She goes between Brazil and India and the United States, and I'd love to welcome Prajna Avalon.
Hi.
Hi, Prajna. I know it's so
Um,
late for you, and you're in Brazil right now.
I'm in Rio, yeah. I'm in Ipanema Beach, like this song.
Oh my God, my favorite song.
Yeah, it's a great song. I love it
Oh
too.
my gosh.
Yeah, so it's late, and it's funny because I think the last time we talked I was on the show with you, I was in India, and I think it was 4:30 in the morning there. So it was really early.
Oh
And now
my
it's 10
gosh.
o'clock at night. So we're just like
Oh
covering
my
the
gosh.
spectrum.
It is. And so you're doing your healing work there.
Yes. Well, I feel lucky. I've been doing online healing
Mhm.
work for I think 15 years now. So this whole change in the world didn't really change anything for me. It just
Yeah.
I maintain my work, I maintain my clients. So I've always done that, whether I was in India or the US, and now here it's always the same. So I'm doing it from here and kind of using each place I am living in, I feel like the energies of that place get brought into the healing work. So
Wow.
it's quite interesting. I'm still getting used to the energies of Brazil because it's very intense energetically here, in a very different way than India and the US.
Oh, I can imagine. And you did something. I'd love you to share what you did to you just moved into a new place and you redid a lot of it. But you did
Yes.
something that I thought was so phenomenal. Can you tell everybody what you did? You guys are going
Yeah.
to love this.
Yes, so I was redoing the entire flooring of the apartment and everything else too, because I believe that when we renew things, energy shifts, right? And
Yeah.
it was a very old place. So the idea was to make crystal grids and fill the place with crystal grids under before we put the flooring down. So I think this should be a thing, like because it's so powerful. So we went around, me and my partner, and we dowsed for places with stuck energy. I mean, she dowsed, and I just sensed because I'm more intuitive. And we did clearings, and then, like for example, right here is my healing room. I have a big round mandala of crystals, I think there are 5 different types of crystals in this mandala, which is the charging, like this funnel in the
Wow.
center of the room. And then where my healing chair is, it's a charging mandala. And then on the corner next to the window, it's a discharging crystal grid. And then I have a
Wow.
physical healing crystal grid. And then, the bedroom is calmer. It's got more like rose quartz and
Mm.
amethyst for sleep, and amazonite for the heart. And then the kitchen area has more vibrant energy, and all of the walls are protected with black tourmaline and
Wow.
obsidian and hematite. It's incredible. And when they were breaking the walls, I put crystals inside of the walls. So it's incredible. It's really something that I would recommend for anybody to
Oh,
do if you ever have the opportunity. It's like a constant healing that's renewing you without you even thinking about it.
wow. I hope, Dawn, you're listening, because as soon as we get to
It's
do,
coming. It's
it's
coming.
coming. Anytime we can do any remodeling, it's just hard to get people nowadays to come and do remodeling. But as soon as we do, that is going to happen. And
Yes.
oh, and Christy is here, and she says, Prajna, you never told me that. So cool.
Oh yeah, oh my gosh, with her like whole entire home decor and
I,
remodeling and
such a
everything. That
cool
would be an
idea.
amazing addition. That would be
Oh my
incredible.
gosh. Well, and speaking of, I've got some questions for you. And one of the questions comes
Yeah.
from Christy, and she says it's a two-part question. She said, can you
All
share
right.
a couple of your personal practices for starting and ending in the day so you are led and grounded by spirit versus self? And then there's a
Yeah.
second part to that. Are there things you do throughout the day to sustain or replenish the energy you give out through your work? I know you both so well, and I know you give out a lot of work of energy, which we
Yes,
do. And that's a
we
great
do.
question, Christy.
Yeah,
Thanks for the question.
that's a great question. For me, it's a very simple practice. I'll just preface with this. I've never been somebody that really could sit and meditate. Even when I lived in India, the entire ashram would be sitting and meditating, and I'd be like, oh my God. I just can't do it. So for me, that never really worked. And at one point, I used to ground, like literally ground. Imagine the energy of my feet growing roots into the earth, and I would spin all my chakras, and I would play different music to each chakra, which is a great
Wow.
practice, but
Sure.
it felt a bit too much for me.
Hmm.
I'm a very simple person. So what I do is I go for a walk every day. For me, that really helps because I connect with myself. I can come within. And here there's a big lagoon or the beach. So I walk near the water, which helps me. And I chant a mantra. I chant a personal mantra that I picked. So I walk, and with each step, the mantra has 4 words. With each step, I say one of the words, and I do that for a while. I think it's usually an hour. And
Wow.
usually at the end of the day, I do a little walk too. So for me, that in combination with the intention. So in the morning when I'm doing that, my intention is to prepare me for the day,
Mhm.
to charge me, to align me, to prepare me for all of the clients I'm going to see on that day specifically, that I may be connected to their higher self and their guides and their purpose. And I do that. And then at night, it's just cleansing everything and coming back to myself. And as for her question about in between clients,
Mhm.
in the beginning, I used to leave a lot of time in between clients. I mean, I used to see just, I think, 4 clients a week when I started. It was like,
Oh,
really,
wow.
exactly. And it was too much
Those were
for
the
me.
days.
I used to see a client and I used to sleep for 2 hours afterwards because it took so much energy.
Oh,
Those were
that's
the
funny.
days. Right now, I'm like, oh man. No, but what I would do is I would then do the chakra exercise
Mhm.
afterwards with the intention of clearing anything that I might have picked up, because you do pick up stuff, right, Kelly? Like you
Oh,
probably,
absolutely.
it's impossible not to, because we're
Yeah.
so merged, right? We're
Yeah.
so connected.
Yeah.
At this point, I don't need to do that anymore as much because I do that as the healing happens. So when I finish a session with a client, I'm basically disconnected from them and I can go into the next one. But it's 20 plus years of doing this. So, but I would say spending time intention is everything. Even if you don't know the specific thing, formula, structure to do,
Mhm.
intention. Just stand there or sit there or lie there and just intend that your body is being cleansed of anything that
Yeah.
doesn't belong to you, and it happens like
It's
that.
that fast. Yeah. No, I have a very
So,
similar
do you do
routine.
that too?
I have a very similar routine. I wake up in the morning and I can meditate, but first I let my dogs out, and
Yeah.
then I go meditate. And I can sit for anywhere from about 20 minutes to 30 minutes. It all depends on my
Great.
day. And I
Yeah.
also want to bring in whatever the highest good for myself and for my clients for that day. And
Yeah.
I don't know, I look at the night before I go to bed, I look at my clients and I say, okay, what do I need? I may even put that out when I go to sleep. Is there anything specific I need? And the next
Yeah.
morning, I meditate on me and on them and what I can bring in and what needs to be done. And then from there, I go have my coffee and my green drink. And then I am ready to see the day. And then during the
Yeah.
day, what I do is I'll stop, I'll take the dogs out. I live on a farm now, so it's easier, except that it's getting cold. And I take them for a walk around, and that usually clears my space, my energy, makes me feel better. And then I'll drink a cup of herbal tea or something during the day. And
Great.
then before I go to bed, I have a routine where I take a shower before I go to bed and just let everything just slide away so I can just have a really peaceful sleep.
That's a
And
great
that
one.
seems
The
to be
shower
for
and
me.
cleansing, that's a great one.
And I run my chakras a lot during the day too, in between people.
Mm-hmm.
I run them constantly, actually. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
similar
Similar. And it probably is automatic for you at this point
at
too,
this
right?
stage. Yeah,
Like you're doing it and you're not even noticing.
yeah.
So and I think that's an important thing for everybody to know. Like the more with energy work, with mediumship, with anything, the more we do it, at one point it's so automatic we don't even notice that we're doing, right?
It's extremely right. People are saying that's so helpful. Yeah,
Yeah,
it
good.
it, it is very interesting. So, oh, somebody, Renee Bear King says, "What's the heart crystal?"
The heart crystal is the rose quartz.
Mhm.
That's the more traditional one. It's got a very soft energy, very warm, very beautiful, very
Mhm.
gentle. The vibration is very similar to the heart chakra when it's in a healthy state.
Yeah.
Another one that I like is Amazonite. It's green.
Mm.
And the heart chakra is also a green color depending on the level of the field where you're looking. And that's also specific vibration depending on the level of the field. So I
Wow.
use both.
You
Like
use
that's what we
both.
did for the bed. I did rose quartz, I did Amazonite, and I did amethyst. And then
Oh.
I did one more, I forget now. I'll remember, but one for protection. But rose quartz, amazonite, and you can lie down. You can put it on your heart and just
Mhm.
feel the energy, even for like 5 minutes. And then once a week, you cleanse it in salt water. You just leave it
Oh,
overnight, right? So that
great
it can
idea.
just recharge itself and like
Right.
clear everything. Or you can leave it, I don't know during an eclipse, but during a beautiful moon that's not as intense, you can leave it outside.
It depends.
It depends
What are
on
you wanting to let
what,
go of?
what you're up for. Exactly. If you're really into cleansing and healing your heart chakra and you don't mind going through a roller coaster trip, put it on eclipse.
So true.
I'm more conservative.
Probably. So Amy Augustine says, "How do you run your chakras?" And I can tell you how I do it. I
Yeah.
visualize 7 chakras: the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh. And I visualize. I spend a few seconds on each one, and I visualize it, and until it's spinning really well and correctly and good and with a high vibration. And then I move to the next one, and then the next one, and the next one. And by that time, I'm ready to go. That's what I
That's
do.
it. Exactly. That's exactly it. And one thing that I would add, always make sure that you're running it clockwise. And one
Mm,
really easy way to do it, that's how we learned in school when we
yeah.
were first starting. You go like this with your right hand. It doesn't matter if you're lefty, you
Okay.
use your right hand always. And you put the thumb. So, for example, my heart chakra, you put your thumb into your chakra, and the direction that your fingers are going, that's clockwise. So you want them all to run that
Oh,
way. So
interesting.
the front of the body is easy. Now the head, see,
Okay.
like clockwise. And
Oh,
the same thing
wow.
will happen for the root chakra. It's gonna be like that, clockwise. And the same thing will happen for the back chakras. This is a sure way of, because otherwise you're like, what's clockwise for which chakra? So if you
Right.
do this, you're like, pa, 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 you just go poof, 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 and there
Oh,
it
that's
is.
amazing.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Living and learning, right? It's
Living
like
and
all these
learning.
little tricks.
I think everybody's loving this.
Good.
Oh my gosh. So
And there are
tell
little things. I'll just tell a funny thing
yeah,
because you can
tell
also
us.
use the colors. I had this one teacher on my second year, the Barbara school. Her name was Eileen, and the first chakra is red, and she used to play this really like strong energy filled music, and then she would say, sit on a big tomato, imagine there's this gigantic tomato, and we would all be like imagining sitting on a big tomato, but like what a better way to imagine that everything is red,
That's
you
actually
know
quite brilliant.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah,
So
for
you
now
can
on,
do
I'm
that
going to
with
use that.
sit on the tomato. That's like an instant way to ground.
Oh my gosh. Karen Bennett says this is so interesting. I meditate several times a day and always cry during each session. Tears just pour out. It's not a sad thing, but being more connected with gratitude or maybe connecting to source. Is this unusual? Is there something from a healing standpoint I should look into or add to my routine?
That's a beautiful question.
Hmm.
This could be so many things for different people, right? Intuitively, just here as I'm hearing Kelly you read her phrase, it feels like a connection with self. And sometimes, even though we feel like we're connected with ourselves, we really aren't, including all of us, including myself. We're
Yes.
so busy, right? We have
Hmm.
lives and relationships and dogs and jobs and whatever. Sometimes when we quiet and go within, we connect with ourselves, and sometimes there's a little bit of that. Sometimes the tears are from connecting, especially because she mentioned gratitude.
Hmm.
So I don't think there's anything to add from a healing standpoint. I would say just keep connecting with self and maybe add the intention to connect with self throughout the day a little bit more.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great one. Oh my gosh. So Sherry Rule Hinger says, how can I read my pancreas? I have no idea.
How can she read her pancreas? I don't think there is a straight answer or way to teach somebody to read their pancreas just like this. It's an organ that's directly connected to the third chakra, so the solar plexus chakra. So I would say start there. So each
Okay.
chakra governs different body parts and organs. So I would say start connecting with your solar plexus chakra. Feel how it is. Ask to sense into it, to know it, to hear it, to, whatever the sense
Yeah.
is. Each of us has a different sense. Or if you know yours already, you can go directly to that. And then once you're connected into the solar plexus chakra, ask about the pancreas. Ask to be guided into how the pancreas is. I mean, that's
Mm.
kind of what happens when doing a healing. Like you
Yeah.
go through the chakras are gateways to the organs, to the system. So I'll do that. I'll go through a chakra to get to an organ. So I would use the third chakra as a gateway to get
Oh,
to the
that's
pancreas.
amazing. Can you tell me a little difference between what exactly are the meridian points and how do
The
you use those
meridian, the
in
meridian
healing?
points are also connections of light. So they're actually tiny little chakras. So we have the seven main chakras, right?
Okay.
And those seven chakras are also directly connected to the seven levels of the energy field that govern our life here on Earth. For example, like the first level is connected to the physical body. The second level, feelings about self. The third level, mental. When we die, those levels actually melt. They disappear. We don't take them. We take the higher levels and then we bring
Interesting.
in other levels. So, as far as the chakras go, the seven main chakras, these ones that we were talking about, they are the biggest doorways that we have. But we have countless, hundreds of chakras. There's like tiny chakras everywhere for every single little thing, bigger ones, smaller ones. So the meridians are energy points
Okay.
that connect directly to certain emotions, to certain body parts, to certain organs, to certain systems. And then when people study those specifically, that's when they acupuncture, for example, they go into the meridians and they put like a needle over here and you feel it in your foot.
Right, right.
It's because they're following that energy pathway. So it's another way of working with energy.
Oh, that is so interesting to me.
Yeah,
Um,
we're amazing. We're
yeah.
so incredible. Next time, maybe I can send pictures of each level of the energy field, and we can put them up
Oh, I
because
would love
it
that.
might be a really great thing to see the lines of light in certain levels, the structured levels, the
Right.
unstructured levels, the different colors. So it could be a good thing to do.
Oh, well, I know I've had several healing sessions with you, several, and each one has always been quite extraordinary. And even though we're far apart physically, I can feel what you're doing. I can feel it.
Yeah.
I can feel the
Yeah.
energy come through. I can feel what you're working on. Sometimes I go completely out where I
Yes.
have no idea what
Yes.
happened. Honestly, it happens like that. Just I'm
Yeah.
gone.
Yes.
And it's fascinating because you work with our guides. You work with our spirit
Hmm.
guides.
Yes. Yes. I always feel that for me personally, I try to never have an agenda of my own. So even though I have all of the knowledge that I've gathered over all these years working, when I'm working with a person, I listen, I kind of have an idea, as we're talking, like the energy is moving, I'm watching, I'm tracking all of that. But when I go into the healing, my intention is to allow the person's higher self and the person's guides to guide the healing.
Mm,
And I feel like that's the biggest gift I can give anybody,
yeah.
because my energy field is still being used to help the healing happen. And I'm still being guided. So I become like a puppet, like one of those, it's the puppets, right? Like
Yeah.
it's like that. It's
Wow.
so the energy, your guides and your higher self are really the ones that are guiding the healing, and kind of using me as a conduit for that to happen.
Wow. It's extraordinary for everybody. I mean, everybody should have a session with you because the work you do is phenomenal. And you work with big
Thank you.
things. You work with people who have cancer. Work with people who
Yeah.
have all kinds of big issues.
Yes, yes. I've always been of the idea that anything can be healed. There isn't a limit. Everything is energy, and energy can be multiplied, and energy can be divided, and energy can be transformed, and energy can be cleared. So to me, there isn't anything that's impossible. I've always gone into the healing like that. And it always surprises me because a lot of times people come and they say, "Oh, I've seen so many people," and they're kind of down. And I always say anything can happen,
Hmm.
you know, but also not. I also think it's important to surrender to what our lives are meant to be, because sometimes we're meant to go through something, right? Sometimes an illness teaches us more than if we didn't have an illness.
Right.
So then the healing becomes, what is the lesson here, how to go through it. So there's many different types of healing. So I always just say, when it comes to physical healing, let's not go into a healing with the cure being the only end goal, because we
Right.
might be missing the
Yeah.
lesson.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more because there's
Yeah.
always a lesson. When we choose
Oh my gosh.
before we incarnate, some of the biggest things that we will have some fated
Yeah.
events, and an
Yes.
illness may be one of them. And it's,
Exactly.
what did you learn from this? Did you have compassion? Did you have love for yourself, for others? Did others help you? Did you help yourself? Did you help others? I mean, there's all kinds of kindness and gratitude and all kinds of things that we come here as souls
Exactly.
to actually learn.
Absolutely. That's
You
exactly
know.
it. Yeah.
So, and we're in an interesting time right now in this pandemic and with all these things that are going on. I mean, it's interesting to see people, heal and go inward and learn about themselves.
Oh yeah, so much. And I've been noticing, I don't know, I don't think we've talked about this, Kelly, but I noticed for me, with my clients, with my own life, with everything, this year has been way more challenging than last year, where when the
Yeah.
pandemic was, we were in lockdown and all of that.
Right.
This year, I feel like that's when truly the unearthing of everything and the healing is happening. Do you
Right.
notice, do you see
I
that
did
too
notice
with,
that. Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, think last year was almost like just sinking quick.
Exactly,
We're going down
exactly.
now.
Yes, yeah.
And then this year, as we've tried to make some progress or learn, it's definitely more challenging year.
It's more
And
challenging.
yeah.
Yeah. So there's so much healing happening. It's like the
Yeah.
universe is saying, "Oh, it's gonna come up now, and it's gonna happen." It's
Yeah.
it's it's just doing it. So for us, it's a big opportunity. It's a huge
Yeah.
opportunity to grow.
Huge.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's difficult, it's challenging. I mean, it's
Mhm.
been an incredibly challenging year. But wow, what we're going to learn from this year, the opportunities we have,
Yeah.
uh, uh, we gotta embrace it. You know, it's okay to feel sad and frustrated and worried and all of that. We're all human, but don't not to give up because everything is perfect. And
Right.
and truly, we're on this planet to grow. It's not to make money, it's not to be famous, it's not to be fit, it's not to be gorgeous, it's not to we
Right.
can do all of those things. It's part of being here. It's kind of like the add-ons that we can
Right.
have. But ultimately, we're here as a soul, we're eternal, we're going to continue existing, and we're here to
Right.
grow.
Yep.
So life and the universe and God or the energies or whatever we believe, it's going to give us what we need for that, because
Yeah.
what matters is way beyond just this life. And I'm not
Beautifully said.
diminishing what's here, but it's
Mhm.
important to have this bigger picture so we're
Right.
not desperate thinking that this is
Yeah.
the end, and oh my gosh.
Right.
you
Right.
know
Couldn't agree more. Yeah,
yeah.
that's so true. I have a couple of things here. Laura Parmley Hoffman says, I'm a de-escalator for children at a school. Wow, Laura, that's a big job. So, what is a good crystal or crystals to carry with me to keep me healthy as a de-escalator, somebody who calms people,
Calms them down.
tries to calm them down?
Yeah, well, I would say hematite,
Hmm.
black obsidian. I
Yeah.
would think that those are very good, and black tourmaline. So those first two are grounding and they're going to keep your energy field stable and strong, Laura. And black tourmaline, it's a crystal that's used actually to clear like evil eye or envy or dark energy or psychic attack. It stops all of that.
Hmm.
And kids, anybody really that's erratic and angry or out of control, that energy is coming at you. So black tourmaline would be amazing. It would
Right.
take that energy and cleanse it, and then the black obsidian or the hematite will ground and strengthen.
Oh, it's a great, thank you for answering that. There's another question here. Somebody asked, what type of healing do you do? And is that doing trans healing? I'm not sure what she means by trans healing.
I don't know what she means either. I don't know if it's similar to like trance mediumship, where you kind
Oh,
of,
maybe.
I don't know. Um, so, well, like Kellee said, I studied at the Barbara Brennan School of Healing, which is Barbara Brennan was a NASA physicist. She builds
Oh,
satellites for
oh,
NASA. Yeah,
huh,
so her methods are amazing. It was amazing to train with her because it was very specific. This is the chakra that connects with this level of the field, with this organ, with this specific frequency in this past life, in this belief system. So I'm able to, whenever somebody brings an issue to me, I'm able to go that detailed into what it is. And for me, I grew up in a healing community in Brazil, which wasn't specific like that, but was more working directly with guides, directly with spirits, talking about reincarnation and karma and what we're here to do, what our lessons are, why we're living with certain people, with family members, with life situations, with poverty or wealth or whatever it is. So then there's this whole other thing that I feel like it's broader, but then I combine that with the specificity of the Barbara Brennan work and just kind of look as a whole.
wow.
And the third thing I was telling Renee, Kelly's producer earlier, I've spent a lot of time with Amma, this guru from India, and I
Yeah.
lived in India with her, and it's all about love. She says love is the deepest healer. With love, anything can be transformed. So for me, then I bring that in. So the surrender, the love, compassion, and then go into all the details and the kind of softness, allowing the time. So bringing all of that in and helping each person with the psychological aspects. Part of the Barbara Brennan training, I did 3 years as a personal process facilitator.
Wow.
So helping people learn their belief systems, their defenses, their wounds, their ways of operating the world, all of that, so that they can do that work in their own
Wow.
personal life. So sorry, it's a long answer, but it's like, I don't know how to answer this more succinctly
No,
still.
it's a great answer because it's so deep. The work that you do, you hit on everything. You hit on every angle. when you go in for a healing. And you
Yeah.
do this actually on the app called WhatsApp, which is really
Yeah.
amazing, which is a free
Yeah.
app for everybody. And so it doesn't matter where they are in the world, they can have a session
Exactly.
with you. And it's an
Yeah.
hour. Is it still an hour session?
It's still an hour usually. I mean, some people we do an hour and a half. Some people really need to talk and be heard and tell these stories, and it's a big part of their healing. So we do an hour and a half, but usually an hour. And
Okay.
WhatsApp, and we do it over voice. I don't do it over video because honestly, I find it very distracting, and I find that it takes away from the depth of the healing. I usually just like to close my eyes and listen to the person so I can look into their energy fields and not their
Right.
faces, like it just it's deeper. So it's really beautiful, and it's incredible how it works. From energy can work anywhere. I mean, even right now, if everybody that is watching us,
Mhm.
I bet they can feel your energy and they can feel my energy.
Oh, for sure. I'm feeling your energy and I'm looking at
Yeah,
your aura.
there, exactly,
I
there
mean,
you go.
it's you radiate, love and just energy that comes out of you. And really to have
Thank
everybody
you.
should have a session with you because it is amazing. So Jody Williams says, I would love to learn more. Would you guys do a workshop together? Yes, we are going to do a workshop together and it's either
Yay.
going to be the end of February or early March. Okay, and
Yes,
we're going to do one which is we've talked about for this last year, but we never got around to doing it because it was a very chaotic year.
it was a
a lot,
very chaotic year.
lot of change.
Oh my gosh.
I know you had a lot of change.
I'm still swirling. So let's next year, but
Yeah, but we are going to do one. And it's going to be on Atlantis and Lumeria, and
yeah,
we both have a unique take on it. And I think you guys
yes.
will love this. Will love, love, love it.
Yes,
It'll be
it'll be
so great.
beautiful. And it'll be a wonderful actually because of after all of this transformation we're going through, Atlantis and
Hmm.
Lemuria, there's so much wisdom
Yeah.
and power and
Oh,
healing. So we'll reconnect with that and
yeah.
bring that power into our lives right now. So it's gonna be
So it'll
incredible.
be great. It'll be so great.
Yeah.
Everybody's excited about that. I can feel the vibes, Terry says. It's going to be
Great.
really, really fun.
It's gonna be
So, Shakifa Shoke says this eclipse energy is definitely intense. Yes. I had a dream that I was taking care of a little girl, a 5-year-old. She was a friend's daughter, and we were in a crowded event, and I lost her. I leave for a few minutes, and I come back, and she wasn't there. I was horrified. I looked for her everywhere and didn't find her. When I woke up and realized it was a dream, I was so relieved. What do you ladies think it means? About you. It was your dream, honey. So it was about you. It was
yes.
about you as a little girl. Were you left
Yeah.
behind? Were you afraid to grow? I mean, a lot of our psyche is from 0 to 7 years old, our subconscious. And something happened, I would say to you when you were 5. I mean, getting
Mhm.
lost. Are you afraid now that you'll be lost? Are you afraid that you don't know who you are yet?
Right.
What would you say to add to
That
that?
that's what I was picking up on too, and I would say there's a subconscious part that is wanting healing,
Yeah,
right? Because it
absolutely.
showed it it showed it to
Absolutely.
you in your dreams, so
Mhm.
it's saying, hey, I'm ready, I need healing. So I would look into exactly what Kelly just suggested, like what part of you, this little girl in you, is lost and is looking for more attention, whether
Yeah.
it's right now or when you're 5 or when you're 7. There's
Yeah.
something there that's really ready for healing and
Yeah,
calling
it's
for you.
very true. So true. So Sean Thompson says, what are your thoughts on Samkharas in relation to releasing story mental patterns that no longer serve you?
I'm not sure what some skaras are,
Well,
so I think I
I
need
can,
a.
yeah, I don't know that I can use the term for mental patterns that no longer serve. My thing on that right now, my thoughts are today's a great day for that, to begin that process of becoming very clear of what being honest with yourself, frankly. What do you
Mhm.
need to let go of now? What have you carried on that what story are you telling yourself? What drama are you playing out? Is there somebody in your life that really doesn't shouldn't be there anymore? I mean, just be really
Yeah.
honest. Have this really honest talk with yourself, frankly, and then it is time to make a big take a leap of faith. Let go and take a leap of faith. This is the time to do it.
It's true. It is the time to do it. And a good thing to add to that, once you notice what the patterns are, what the stories are, shift them. Like that's
Right.
the that's where the energy healing comes in. Releasing ceremonies of patterns. Yeah.
Yes.
So great. So yeah. So once you notice what your patterns are, bring in a positive pattern. So if you know you have a fear, bring in a ceremony of
Right.
trust. Bring in. So you got to shift,
Right.
because if we notice something, we just, okay, that's it. It's gonna come back. It's gonna come back. It's gonna come back. We gotta notice something. We gotta shift it, and then the healing happens. And you probably have to do that for some time. But it's an incredibly powerful practice. And belief systems actually are
Yeah.
usually held in the seventh level of the energy field.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Tell us about
I
that.
haven't talked about this in probably 20 years.
Oh, it's so
Um,
important, though, what you're saying,
I think it
because
must, yeah.
belief systems hold us back.
They hold us back from everything,
Mhm.
and they usually come from past lives. It's very common that we're recreating the belief system. And even if we see, oh, I had this that happened repeatedly in my childhood, and that's why this belief system is here, it probably comes from before, and that's why it was
Wow.
present there.
Wow.
So it's usually present in the seventh level of the field, which is the last layer. It's a golden layer, and it also holds past life bands. So it's an incredibly important layer to work on. It rarely gets worked on because we have so many instant things. You need a healing, a
Right.
course of healing to get there, because you
Sure.
gotta, we're like so much to get there. That's why I'm like, I haven't talked about this in a long time.
Well, I'm wearing gold, so let's go, sister.
I love it. I know. Everything's in gold. The background to our websites
I,
is in
which
gold.
which
It's
I think it's
perfect.
important because it
Yeah.
is time to release that seventh layer.
Except, well, we don't want to release the seventh layer.
Okay.
We want the seventh layer there.
Oh, you don't want it
But
just to go away.
no, let's not have it go away. But I would say, go adding to the practice, imagining a healthy seventh layer, clear and shiny and beautiful, with
Mm,
nothing unhealthy attached to it. So use intention. We were talking about intentions earlier.
yeah.
So let's use intention for that. So the seventh layer is usually like, if you put your arms out, the seventh layer will go all the way there for
Yeah.
give and take. So imagine the seventh layer there, and imagine this golden egg around, and just intend for the belief systems to clear, for
Mm.
negative past life bands to clear. Really, really use the intention and make that seventh layer gorgeous.
Oh my gosh, I love that. So
I love it.
Renee Hounsel says, I've just begun using a crystal singing bowl in the key of A. I was wondering if each key is for each chakra. Can you clear your chakra crystals with the bowls?
Yes, absolutely. So each chakra has a specific vibration. So each singing bowl has a specific vibration. So the lower the singing bowl, the lower the chakras. And I don't know the exact keys and frequencies that go with the chakras, but if you take different bowls, seven different vibrations, they'll probably mimic the seven different chakras, and you can absolutely feel the frequency of the
Mm.
bowl and match that with the chakra, and it's super, super, super easy. Barbara Brennan actually. I don't do this because I don't have a singing voice, and I wouldn't subject anybody to this. But she used to sing into people's chakras, the note, just the vibration. She used to use her voice as a singing
Wow.
bowl. And she used to
Wow.
go into the chakra and go, oh, and then she would go all up and down the notes. It was really incredible. I do
Wow.
that with energy. I cannot do that, but it's cool. So
Oh,
yes, you can do that.
oh my gosh. So Tammy Hendricks, hi Tammy. She
Hi,
says patterns
Tammy.
are meant to be seen. They come up in the form of stories. Stories are meant to be shared and then released.
That's so true. That's so
Totally
powerful.
true.
I mean, things can only heal if they come up. things cannot be healed if they're hidden, right? That's why therapy
Right.
is so important, right? So that's why it's personal process is so important. That's why
Yeah.
sharing with our stories with friends is so important. Being heard, it's the beginning of healing. It's the foundation of healing. It's the only way they can be released. The only way. It's very important.
Yeah. So true. Thank you for saying that. That's so true. Tracy, hi, Tracy Hildreth. She says, I wrote down patterns and things that I need to release, and I
Right.
put it under the container that I'm making moon water in setting the intentions. Tomorrow I will read the list, dump the moon water out, starting the release. That's fantastic.
I love
That's
that. Oh my
fabulous,
gosh,
Tracy.
that's like the best use of this
Yeah.
powerful eclipse and the intention and the learning of the patterns. I love that. That's beautiful.
Right?
Yeah.
It's so perfect for this. So this is an interesting question. Stacy Thompson says, "Does a soul have an endpoint?"
What's an endpoint? I guess I
I
need to
think maybe
clarify
I
that.
don't know if you mean Stacy an ending. Is like does a soul like end? No,
No,
never,
if that's it, the
never,
soul never ends. It's
never.
eternal. It's
Yeah,
eternal. It's
yeah.
eternal. There's no ending point. I thought you said in point. I didn't know what it was.
Oh,
Ending point.
end end point.
Yeah.
Come to the end. Boom.
No, there's no ending points. There's nothing
No,
that can destroy the soul.
no.
Nothing. Our essence, our soul. So we have the physical body, and that's one of these slides we can do another time.
Yeah.
The physical body, and then the energy field, the aura. Before that, there's our dimension called the Hara line,
Let's
which is
talk
for
about the Hara line.
the Hara line is a dimension for intention, basically. It has intention for our lifetime. So it has three main points. One is called the ID point. It's about like a foot above our head. It's a triangle shaped usually. And that's where the energy comes in our bigger self, because we're way bigger than what we remember, right now. And it's called the ID because it's the identity point. So that sets us up for this lifetime. So for example, I went from the bigger aspect of who I am to Prajna, the manifestation in this lifetime. Then it comes down and it connects right here by where the thymus gland is, and that's called the soul seat.
The soul seat.
Yeah, the soul
Okay.
seat, it's a golden sphere, it's beautiful, and it carries our longings, our
Mm.
desires. But I'm talking deep soul longings. It carries every single thing we're going to manifest in this incarnation. It takes us
Wow.
towards the people we're meant to be with. It takes us towards our profession, our what we're going to create, our service to the world. The
Wow.
soul seat carries everything, our
Wow.
path. And then the line continues going down to about an inch and a half below the belly button, and it's called the Tantien.
Hmm.
That is a little red sphere. It's like 2 inches wide or so. And that is our vibration for incarnation. So each of us has a very unique, kind of like our fingerprints. We each have a unique fingerprint. Our Tantians are unique to us. So the vibration of our Tantians, it's where our identity connected with our purpose, longing
Hmm.
to be here, and then it grounds and that goes into the earth. That is what makes us be alive.
Wow.
So the heart
Wow.
line is everything. It holds everything that we create. If our soul seat is disconnected, we
Hmm.
don't know where we're going. We don't know what we want. We don't know what we're going to live. We don't know our profession. We don't know our career. We don't know
Hmm.
anything. That needs
Wow.
healing. If the Tantian is not connected, we know everything, but nothing manifests. It's people that just kind of go around and around and around and
Hmm.
around and nothing works. So the heart line is so important. So,
So
so
when you're
important.
doing a healing with someone, do you look at the Hara line?
I look at the heart line. Yeah, usually I tap into the heart line. Sometimes I do a heart line only healing, usually for people that I'm working with for a little bit of time. Because
Okay.
if you adjust the heart line, any changes you make in the heart line, you will change their entire aura, their entire energy field.
Wow.
So if somebody comes to me for the first time, very rarely they'll get a heart healing because their container might not be strong enough yet for all the
Right.
changes, and they might just have like a mental breakdown with everything that's happening. So healing, you have to be very responsible in how you're doing the healing work. And I believe in doing the healing work in the steps where the person is ready and where it's going to benefit them, and not, you know, run with the horses in front of the,
Right.
the carts. So just like you got to go in a step. But the
Right.
heart line is everything. It's the deepest grounding, it's the deepest connection with the soul, it's the deepest purpose, it's everything. And then the aura manifests what the heart line holds. Our
Wow.
feelings, our thoughts on how we're going to make this happen, our will, our actions, our connections with people. The aura is the being, is our personality, is all of that. But the heart line is who we are. Before the heart line is our pure essence. The only thing before the heart lines is our essence. There's no distortion. It's pure. Is our light. It's our God self. It's our gifts. It's everything.
Mm.
And that's what we're going back to. That's the goal, is to
Yeah.
really be this, so that this can shine through everything else, and then healing happens, and then our lives flow. Everything flows.
Wow. Wow. That was beautifully said. Wow.
Yeah,
Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for saying that.
you're
Let me
welcome.
ask you this. Where does fear come in? Because I know in this dimension there's a lot of fear. So when you're
Yeah.
doing a healing, where do you see fear? Is on the where do you see it on the outside? Where do you see it on the inside?
Fear is always in the aura. The heart line, it has no feelings. It's a very still dimension. There's no thoughts, there's no feelings, there's nothing there. Um, Fear is in the aura. So it depends on fear of what. So, for example, fear of relationships, fear of connecting. The heart is usually on the fourth level of the field, which is the level of relationships.
Mm.
So then you can see fear there. If it's fear of work, or expanding or not expanding, it might be more on the third level of the field, which is the mental level. So there's a lot of thinking. I
Mm.
mean, it will permeate all of the levels. It's very rare that it's just in one, but
Interesting.
it depends on what the fear is about. So like somebody that went through a lot of trauma and has primal fear of
Hmm.
survival, that's
Hmm.
on the first level of the energy
Wow.
field, and the second level, very primal. It
Wow.
hasn't even it doesn't even need to go to the higher levels. It permeates them, but you would work more on the first level. So
Hmm.
each fear, you go into a specific area and a specific chakra.
Mm. Mm. Wow, that's just amazing. So Sandy H says, if I may ask, would you share your tattoo on your arm?
Which one? This? I think this must be the one. Is that the one?
Hmm.
If it is the one, it's a Sanskrit tattoo, and it is Om Amrite Shwariye Namaha, and it means salutations to the immortal goddess. Salutations, I bow to the immortal feminine goddess that guides all of us, that heals all of us, to God in that feminine form that I believe is the deepest healer there is.
That's beautiful too. Tracy says, Prajna, you are so very special. I love the learning you give us all. Thank you.
I'm
Uh,
so glad. I'm so glad.
And how do we spell Haraline? Is it H-A-R-I or H-A-R-A?
Yeah, Hara.
Okay,
Yes.
so that's a good one. How can we live this in our daily lives? Tammy asks.
How can we live all of this?
Yes. Yes.
In 2 minutes or less.
You betcha.
Well,
What can we do for our daily practice or add to our lives or
you
somehow
know,
to stay focused and to remember these things?
life is very full, right? So we have our lives with ourselves, our daily practice, like in the morning, or if we have a significant other, how we meet them, or if we have pets, how we meet them. We have what we eat. We have what we do with our bodies. We have how we sleep. We have what kind of music we listen to. It's always hard for me to just say, do this, because everything influences
Yeah.
our daily life. So it's about intention and awareness. So if I want to create balance, then I live my days thinking like that. It doesn't, for example, it doesn't help if I go for a wonderful walk and chanting my mantra in the morning, and then I go, I don't know, to some place that has really to like a bar where people are drinking and swearing and this and that, and it's heavier energy. It doesn't maintain, Not that I'm saying don't go to a bar, it's wrong, but all I'm saying is just be aware of how you want to go about your days. And if you do see that you're going to go to a bar, since I brought that up for some reason, just kind of boost up everything else around you. It's really, our days build up, onto themselves. It goes from, what we eat, like what do we have for breakfast? Do we have, some fruit and juice or coconut water or clear water or vegetables, really? Or do we have, waffles and processed stuff and
Right.
syrup? See, like everything affects everything.
Mhm.
So and I'm saying this, I think in the past I would have given a more like, well, meditate, align your chakras and go with your day. But I feel that this transition that the earth is going through and all of us are going through is asking for way more than just that. It's really asking for us to reanalyze our whole entire lives and what are we doing with it. Like you said earlier, Kellee, like analyze and what are you doing? If you're
Yeah,
not okay,
wake up. It's
leave. If you
right.
wake up, exactly.
Yeah, I mean,
So I
it's really
guess
about being very as conscious as you can and as honest with
exactly.
yourself as you can,
Yes.
because all of this is about know thyself. Know
Yeah.
thyself is everything. So if this is
It's
a great
everything.
time to get as conscious as you possibly can. And
It
that's a
is.
constant throughout the day because it's easy
Yes.
to go down a quick path south.
Oh,
It's so
so
easy.
easy. Oh my
Too
gosh, it's so
easy.
easy for all of
Yeah.
us. It's
Yeah.
so easy. You get triggered. Somebody irritated me. It's so easy to just be irritated back.
So true. It's so true.
So it's everything, and I say, do what feels good for each one of you.
Right.
you
Right.
know each one, we gotta find what makes us feel happy. Like for me, like I said, sitting and meditating for a half hour makes me feel agitated and anxious. It doesn't work for me, so I do
Mhm.
my thing. So but as long as there's a positive connection,
Yeah.
that's what we do.
Absolutely. And if people would love to have a session with you, they can
Yeah.
find you on your website. That's how you do your booking or
That's the easiest. Yeah, email is the
okay.
easiest. There's a contact form, or they can send me an email, and we'll go from there. Be a
Okay.
little patient. Just it takes me sometimes a few days to get back to emails,
Yeah.
but it's the easiest way. And if you feel called, I always feel like I always say, see if you resonate. If you resonate, it's calling. If you just heard something awesome but it doesn't resonate, then maybe another healer. But if it resonates, then say yes. It's opportunities come in our lives all the time, and it's up to us
Yeah.
to say yes. So it's the invitation for me, because that's what I do with my practice too. I always say, please send me the people that we
Mhm.
resonate perfectly,
Yeah,
not
I
just
do the
people to
same
work. Do you do
thing.
the same?
I do the same thing. I
Oh, I
do the same
love
thing.
that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I,
And
I
it's a
never
joy to
even
work. It's a joy. I don't
exactly.
think of it as work. I just think of it
No.
as how blessed I am and a joy
Yes.
that I get out of it. I go in with everyone. This is going to be the best one. Every
Yeah.
moment. It's a constant, constantly feeding myself the most positive affirmations ever.
I love that. Thank
Yeah.
you for saying that. I love that. And that way we can give the best, right? You can
Right.
give the best, I can give the best, and that's
Right.
why we do this. So,
Absolutely why we do this.
yeah.
So people can reach Prajna at prajnaavalon.com,
Yeah.
and she will be back on our show again soon. And the other thing is we'll make an announcement probably at the end of the year. We'll make an announcement for probably I'm thinking early March, but we'll do a
Yeah.
fabulous class here, and everybody is so. There's Tracy says, "Thank you, Kellee, for you and for sharing Tammy and Prajna with us." Oh, and Tammy's a wonderful animal healer too, wonderful
And
intuitive.
wonderful being,
You are
beautiful, beautiful
all very
person.
sweet. This is so. Everybody's loving this. Everybody's saying thankful, and so
Well,
great. And
thank
this
you,
is so
everybody,
great.
too.
So,
Thank you, Kellee. You know I
oh,
love you
I
so
love you
much,
so
and
much.
you,
Have a
oh,
wonderful, wonderful. I know you're going to go to bed now, but just
yeah.
remember, we've got the big eclipse. Pay
I'm gonna
attention
go
to your
hide.
dreams. Go hide. Well, you've got all those
Close the
crystals.
curtains.
So go
Exactly.
under and sleep with your
Exactly.
crystals tonight. Probably a good
Exactly.
idea, frankly.
Sleep with your crystals is
You
a
know what? I
great
think that's a good
advice.
idea. I'm going to put one under the bed.
Great
What the
advice.
heck? Anyway, and thank you, Renee. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving, everybody. I'll be back with James on Monday, and we're going to be doing astral projection on Monday,
Ooh,
which ought to be fun.
wonderful.
Take
Yeah.
care, everybody.
Bye,
Thank you.
everybody. Good
Bye.
night.
You've been listening to Ask Me Anything, featuring spiritual medium and psychotherapist Kellee White.